Welcome everybody to my channel. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Today we'll be talking about the trucking industry, the pros, the cons, the thing they don't tell you about the trucking industry. I have been trucking for over 2.5 years. I started off as a student. My company that I went to that gave my license was CRST. At the time I didn't know CRST was a team company. And with that being said, I didn't know. I'm used to having my personal space, all of that, but now we in a small truck, two people, a stranger I don't know. You can do anything to me, and all of that. I can't say the trainers. I had two trainers. The first trainer, she was all right. She rushed me when we got there. You have to keep in mind I was a student. She rushed me. When we got to the shipper, I ended up late. I ended up skipping a fifth wheel, and she was an owner. My trainer was an owner operator, so which means that the truck that her students was driving was her truck that she was paying on. And I skipped the fifth wheel on the truck, and it tore the back of her truck up. And let's just say she wasn't happy about that. She was cussing at me, all that. So the next day, I called the company like, "Hank, look, I want to come home. This ain't what I expected." All of that. I was like, "This lady crazy." I told them a lot of things, and I can't say that lady. One thing that she said that stuck with me, which is something I honestly did not want to do. She's like, "By the time you're off my truck, you will be the dominant driver." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "By the time you're off my truck, whoever you team with, you will be the dominant one." And I'm like, I don't want to be the dominant. I don't care about stuff like that. I, I don't care about stuff like that. So, me not caring, I was like, okay, I don't care about things of that nature. I don't. So what ended up happening, I got another trainer, and she critiqued me. She made me a better driver. One thing I did not do good in was backing that truck up. But after she taught me, I got better, better, and better. Some shippers you will go to in different states are extra small. There's no room, especially if you ever go to LA. Good luck, because their trucks are not meant for. Their roads are not meant for trucks. Honestly, especially semis, their roads not meant for no semi truck. So yeah, she made me a better driver. But the person I was in class with, she ended up hitting me up because at the time I was in Georgia. I ended up because I couldn't. Okay, let me back up. So after I finished with my trainer, I ended up didn't have a partner, so the company asked me to do solo for a while. I was like, okay, that's fine. The first mistake the company made was they gave me a load. I showed up at the address they gave me, but come to find out that was the wrong address. The load ended up being late, and it was a big mess being made that could have honestly been avoided. Because the company called me, they was like, "Why are you late?" I'm like, "This the address y'all gave me." They was like, "Oh yeah, we sorry about that," you know. But I'm gonna tell you this. I thought when I first got in trucking, I would make boo-hoo's money, like a lot of money. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be making so much money. My check, my first check was $500 as a student, and it was one week of being a student that my check was $500, and another week was I ended up making three because we didn't get many routes that time. We didn't do many loads, so we was stuck. But with my other trainer, my second trainer, I ended up making $1,000 in 1 week as a student. We ended up dropping, I think, between 7 or 8 loads off, and our last stop was California. And she dropped me off at California in Riverdale so I can get my truck and go back to Atlanta. I'm not from Atlanta, but that's where they was sending me to drop the load out so I can do my reset. I was headed to XPO. That's where I was going. I was going to XPO in Georgia. And I was like, okay, fine. I was doing night driving. And the GPS, it was like, it kept saying I passed place. So what I did, me being a student, but now I wasn't a student no more because I was on my own. I ended up busting a whole U-turn in the street with the 18-wheeler in. For somehow, I'm glad it was late at night because in Georgia, it's only like certain roads, certain streets you can go down. And if you get caught, it's most likely you get a ticket. And the company probably get fined as well. XPO is way in the back. They don't have a sign back there. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was horrible. It was horrible. But I can say that experience with CRST, it showed me a lot. It showed me that not everybody is going to be, has the same perspective of how they used to do things and of their nature. So I take that into consideration now. And as the year went on, I ended up quitting CRST because I'm like, man, I don't want to be with nobody in my truck because it's a small space. Think about I'm trying to see what size. It's a very small space and it's not good at all. But the other company I went to, they were good. I made more money. I made $800, $900 a week. And that was me coming fresh off the road, fresh, out of school. I was a regional driver. And I can say, only thing that with that company was, I didn't want to be on the road. That was it. Why am I on the road for 2 weeks and I come home for 2 days? That don't make no sense. So that's one thing they don't tell you about in trucking. Oh yeah, we can get you home every week. Be careful with that because with you getting home every week, you're only gonna be home for a day and a half, which is a 34-hour reset. Okay, so let me break this down how it works. In the trucking industry, they give you 70 hours a week to work, which is how many hours you can drive. You can drive 11 hours in one day. After the 11 hours, you have to do a 10-hour reset. Means you have to be out the clock 10 hours in sleeper berth or off duty. If you are over the road, that will put you in sleeper berth for 10 hours. If you are local, you will be off duty for 10 hours. It's basically the same thing, but one is in the sleeper berth. What the sleeper berth is, the bed. You back there in the bed. So let's say a local driver ends up going to sleeper berth. Only thing you do, you can honestly go in there cry. You can honestly go in there criteria, edit your stuff. Only thing you cannot edit is your drive time. You cannot drive, you can't do that. You can't cheat no way around your drive time. Once that is it. Park the truck, do this, do that, everything. So you get 70 hours in a week. After the first 8 hours, let me start there. First 8 hours of the 11 hours, you drive nonstop 8 hours if you choose to. Some people, they drive 5, take a break, do what do. Me personally, I'm driving my full 8. If I have to stop, I'll stop, but I don't want to. So what I usually do is drive my full 8 hours, take a 30. You have to take a 30-minute break in order to get the rest of your hours. And you have to be off duty or on duty. As long as you're not driving, you're fine. But most of the time, I'll be off duty. So, that's what I do. That's what they do. They give us 70 hours a week to work, to drive. And once you're out of that drive time, you are in trouble. Park the truck. And I can say this as being, from my experience, Google Maps is okay as long as you're on the interstate. Once you are not on the interstate, good luck. Google Maps has taken me places I have nowhere to be. But you have to keep in mind, Google Maps is for a car, not for a semi-truck. So Google Maps is only good when you're on the road, only on the interstate. When you're trying to go to a shipper, I would advise you use one of the trucker apps, which I would later on show you. I think I have it in on my iPad. I'm not sure, but it's a trucking app that you can use. I forgot the name of one of them, but I would advise you to use a trucker app. I'm trying to think of the name of the app. I can't think. But I advise you use a trucking app to get to like the shippers or anything, unless you know, unless you know where you going. But for me, I didn't know I was going. My thing was, oh, okay, I'm using Google Maps. I got this. Google Maps gonna tell you, oh, it's a bridge. 12-9, 13-0. It don't tell you that. So, with that being said, the height of your truck is 13.6. If you see anything less than it, you're not gonna fit. I went to I forgot where I was at, but I seen the bridge 13.7. I was terrified of it until I had stopped in the middle of the road and was like, I don't know if I should go under this, what I should do. But I ended up seeing another 18-wheeler. He went right under. I was like, okay, we can fit. You have to be careful with some of the bridges, especially like when it's that close. You don't want to scrub nothing. You don't want to tear nothing up. It's just, it'll become a mess. And then you have to get the police involved, your company involved. You could, I don't know if you can lose your job over something like that. Because it never happened to me, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility that you probably could lose your job over something like that. And I wouldn't advise you to try to go over a bridge thinking, oh, I can make it. I'm telling you, 13.6. It's 13.6. So you feel like you can't make it, then just trust your good instinct. Okay? So, enough of that. Now we're talking about the shippers. I have been to shippers where they quick. I have been to shippers where I'd stay overnight. One thing I can say about the shippers, if you could be early, please be early. Because I advise you, I'd rather be early than late. And the reason why I say I'd rather be early than late, let's say your appointment started at 12. Yep, we're going to go with 12. Your appointment started at 12. You make it there at 10. Before you know, let me back up. Okay, let's say, hey, you call your shipper, hey, you call your company, like, hey, when they take this load early, I gotta be there, it's showing that I'll be there at 10 o'clock. I know my appointment's at 12, okay? What your company gonna say? Oh, yeah, you can get it there early. That is wonderful. You can get it there early. Because most likely when you get it there early, somewhat you might get out there early. Sometimes you might not get out there early. Just depending on where you go. That's all that depends on. It depends on where you go. So, I would advise you to get there early and not late. I have been in shippers where you are constantly sitting there a couple hours and you end up eating at your time that you need to drive. I have sat at a shipper and I had plenty of time to get back home. I was, matter of fact, I'll tell you, I was in Dallas, Texas. I had a 4 o'clock to get back home. I had a 4 o'clock. Well, I got there early. I was like, man, yeah, I'm finna knock this out. I'm finna be at home around this time tonight. Man, I get there. Oh, they only had one worker at work. And he got to load all these trucks. I was like, oh, shoot. I end up eating my clock. I end up I barely made it home. Honestly, matter of fact, I didn't even make it home that night. I'm talking about I did not make it home that night. I was probably about 4 hours away from home, which was cool with me. It was fine. But, it was, just keep that in mind in case you do want to drop your loads off early. Keep in mind that Even though you might be there early, you might not get out of there. Okay? But I'm gonna tell y'all the best thing. The best thing anybody can do for us was give us dropping hooks. Them live load was eat your clock up, and sometimes them dropping hooks do too. But it's rarely. I have one anytime I had a dropping hook that I probably have to wait 30 minutes on them to finish loading the trailer. 30 minutes to probably an hour at the most. And that's it. What I mean by dropping hook, you bring your trailer in, you drop that one off, you pick up your load or pick up your empty, and go back out. And you go back to, like, go where you going. On to your next destination. I can say that saves a lot of time. Also, a thing that I learned as a unexperienced driver is that a lot of times I always say no parking, none of that. Like no parking, no parking on ramps, no parking at the rest areas. Let me tell you this. Sometimes I can't. And as a matter of fact, let me say this: in Arkansas, they do not play about the ramps at all. Cause I was driving down the road and I seen the police literally knocking on all them semi-door trucks, breaking them up to move their trucks. I can't say some states don't play like that. Some states, let's let it slide. I mean, cause when we out of time, you cannot move your truck. If you move your truck when you don't have no time, you in violation. And let's say, okay, let me say this for this before I go back on to the ramps and stuff and the sleeping thing. Let me say this. If you go outside of violation, let's say, okay, you think, yeah, man, I'm cool. You got a weigh station coming up. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. They telling us, because when you go to a weigh station, it's going to be 2 arrows up there. It's going to be either the bypass arrow or you finna get on the scale. If they call you on the scale, all right, that mean they weigh your truck. Then there's going to be a little LED thing. Say stop, go, pull over, come around. They tell you to come around, you might be in for a world of trouble. You might be. Because when I say this, because violations, that mean you probably finna get an inspection. They're going to look at your clock, your hours, all of that. And it's going to show you have a violation. So you automatically in trouble. So with the violations, please try to avoid them if you can. But I can say I have been in violation several times. I was delivering a load down in Florida. I forgot which part. I was delivering a load in Florida at the Belk store. I ran out of time there. So I had to stay there at the mall for a couple hours until I got my time back. Well, it ended up happening while I was there. The security, oh, you can't stay here. I told him, I said, look, man, I'm not staying here. I'm just trying to get my hours back. They'll be back in probably an hour. All right, just make sure you leave. Fine. Some people understand that. Some people don't. They want you to, oh, no, you need to get up, get out of here right now. And if they one of them people, just get up and get out. Don't argue with them. Don't do nothing. Because at the end of the day, you're doing the best you can. But a lot of people, they don't respect drivers. And the scariest thing that ever happened is actually 3 scariest things that ever happened to me. And I want people to be advised on this. If it's bad weather, especially rain, please slow down. And I say this because a couple weeks ago I was driving and there was a very bad storm coming, and the storm was horrible. I ended up getting caught in it, and I was on the interstate. I was doing probably about 65. A truck in front of me, the semi-truck, stopped in the middle of the interstate because he could not see. Thank God when nobody in my lane, I got over. When I mean, they would do that. I don't know why, what caused them to do that. But please be paying attention because that is a scary moment for me. A very scary moment for me. Because I honestly felt like God was with me at that time because I'm like, ain't no way this man, let's stop this traffic. I mean, traffic was still going behind us. So you gotta think about it. If he stopped, that mean he could no longer see. But everybody isn't good in driving in different weather conditions. Like me starting off, I had to drive in snow and ice because it was during the wintertime, so it don't bother me driving during the wintertime. I hate driving during the summer because it's hot. I mean, it just be so hot during the summertime. So, I mean, that's one thing you just have to consider when you driving. Just watch out for you, your other drivers. And that was one of the things I hated, especially driving. Trucks are just stop in the middle of the road. Then you got the super truckers. They drive past you all in your lane and you trying to get out their way while you stay in your lane. It's hard. Nothing that happened to me was... And this actually, I seen it online, but it never happened to me in person until a couple weeks ago. And what that was a car jumped over in front of me and slammed on his brakes, trying to get me to hit him. And the thing is, I wasn't, how can I put this? I wasn't mad, but I was pissed off to the max. Mad and being pissed off was two different. I was pissed, like, why did you do that? Because me being mad was like, bro, come on, like, you know better. It was just, why did you do that? You know I can't. And the thing is, the truck I was in, it was going 70 miles per hour down the hill. I would advise all four-wheelers, which are cars, and trucks that are not, vehicles is basically that are not semis. Please do not do that because not only you putting your life at jeopardy, you putting my life at jeopardy and a lot of other people's lives. And I can say this, I see a lot of people do it all the time. I understand they didn't piss you off. I understand they didn't probably did so much, but please not do that. Please do not do that. Because you can literally be gone within seconds of pulling out and stomping on your brakes in front of a semi-truck. You have to keep in mind we cannot stop our trucks like that. We just can't. And all the weight we can carry up to 80,000 pounds. There's no way we can do that and be safe. So, if anybody out there that does that, just call it in, okay? Whatever they do, just call it. I'd rather you call it in than you try to do that because that night, the thing what saved me, I'm going to tell you this, the thing that saved me was I had to jump over there in the left lane. That would save me. That would save him. If somebody was in that left lane, most likely what would have happened was my whole truck would have been on top of him and his vehicle. And then I would probably got in trouble because drivers have been arrested for those type of things where, think about it like this. Let's say this. Anytime it's an accident involving a big rig, people automatically thinking, people automatically thinking it was the semi-trucker's fault. And not necessarily. It's not always our fault, It's not always on the semi-truck drivers. Because, you got to think about it. We out here driving. We have to drive safe. That is our goal, to drive safe and deliver goods. Now, if you don't like us driving and doing this, don't get things out of stores. We are the main sources of moving things to where they need to be moved. Okay? So all I'm asking, please be nice. If you let semi-trucks piss you off, please just honestly call it in. Because putting your life, your kids' life, or anybody else's life at jeopardy, it's not a good thing, okay? All right, that was the two. The third one is wind. I hate wind. Wind is not my best friend at all driving in them trucks. And I say that because I honestly, when I have wind, I feel like I have less control over what I'm doing. So with wind, the truck will move either that way or that way, and it's hard to keep it in the middle. So, and it's a possibility that we can roll over. It depends on how strong. It really has to be a very, very strong winds in order for that to happen. So, that's all I have to say with it. Another thing is that they don't tell you about trucking. The truck stop food sucks. You have to take. I'm one of the people where I hate showering in public. I hate using the restroom in public. And I had two liners that real quick that hey, I had to do that. I had to learn how to adjust. But I can say this: if you getting full feel, please use your field card faithfully. Like your points card. I don't have none on me. But it'd be a Love's Pilot card and a TA card. Those are probably the main common 3 truck stops that this truck use. Use that, let your points add up. Go buy you some food, buy you showers, because it's already bad enough we out there and we ain't trying to be out there. But please, just use your points. Or save them up. I would advise you to please invest in a headset. Honestly, you don't have to get a high headset. I bought me a headset for $7 and it worked just fine. So it honestly doesn't matter what kind of headset you use, but I would advise you to get a headset. A phone mount. It was hard. It's very hard for me to find one because my phone is heavy itself. Then the case on there, it makes it even heavier. So just keep that in mind. One thing that I hate to say is, and I know I shouldn't say this, trucking isn't for everybody. I'm gonna say this: if you're not planning on being safe, following the rules, do not get into it. Because literally you can either kill yourself or kill someone. And I have seen some bad wrecks over the years, and I always wonder what happened, what caused that accident, and all of that. But I know one thing that a lot of trucker hates is the cameras inside the trucks. And I can honestly say it used to bother me, but it don't bother me no more. And I say this because if we get in a wreck, whoever you done hit or whatever you done tow up is going to try to sue you. They're going to sue your company. They're going to be the first to. If you rear-end somebody, first thing they're going to do, I'm finna sue you. And they're right. They're going to sue you. They're going to sue the company. But with that camera being in that truck, it protects you, protects your company, protects your license, and your driving record. Now, what I mean by that is, if you have a wreck and it's not at your fault, that will be shown on your driving record. And companies might be like, oh, they had a wreck, but it wasn't on their driving record. I mean, it wasn't showing that they were at fault. And companies like, well, okay, that's fine. But you had a wreck, it's at fault. They're going to look at you, oh, it might be a liability. He might go ahead, or she might go ahead and hit somebody, and we might get sued and all that. So just keep that in mind as well, because a lot of people they don't keep that in mind. Also, another thing, trucks will break down. These people tell me, oh, I want a brand new truck. I want the newest truck. No, I want the old truck. The new trucks, they just... A lot of them, honestly, I done drove a new and old truck. A lot of them, honestly, not as durable as the old ones. So I prefer old over a new truck. Not too old, though. I prefer an old one over a new one. And a lot of things, like regenning and stuff. Some trucks they do it on their own, but a lot of them, honestly, you just have to manually do it. I know a lot of trucks that I was in, I manually did it. Also, another thing, when you're taking a shower, please have shower shoes, and your own towels and all of that stuff for that nature. Even though they give you your own towels, I prefer you to have your own, because a lot of people out here, they just not as clean, and you got COVID and stuff going around. So just take care of your health, take care of yourself, and that's about the best thing you can do, you know. One thing that I have learned being in this trucking industry is you will meet some nice people. You will meet some mean people. One thing truckers does hate is when you take your break at the fuel island. I do it faithfully. I take my break at fuel island. I will probably 9 out of 10, and I usually get away with it. But sometimes I don't. And just consider when you on your break and you move that truck and it goes into driving at any time, you have to start your whole break over. Don't forget that you have to start your whole break over. If you are on your break, let's say you had 29 minutes on your break and you move that truck into drive. Within that 1 minute, you have to start your whole 30-minute break over. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind your truck going to break down. It might break down if you got a new truck. It should, last anything. I done had trucks that they done broke down. Stuff done fall out off of them. I mean, that's a lot better now because it's colder. Because I had a truck that the air didn't work at night. It only worked when I was driving. So when it's having me going to sleep, bro, I couldn't get no air. And we had some hot summers. So I can't say that is one thing. But one thing they don't tell you about trucking industry, why are these companies lying to you? Oh, we're gonna give you this sign-on bonus. It's $12,000. What they don't tell you, they're gonna pay you this sign-on bonus probably over a year. There's just a little at a time. Okay, so don't thinking, oh man, I just signed this, I'm gonna get $12,000 in the front. Nope, it don't work like that. Now the little 1,500 or something like that, they'll give you that. Also, a lot of people ask about trucking drug tests. I can say this. There are the two most common drug tests, or well, the only two that I know of right now are the hair follicle test and the urine test. So them mainly are the only two tests that I ever seen, honestly, unless it's something else. But majority of them just use urine test. And a lot of people ask, oh, what kind of test? It's usually urine or hair follicle. Hair follicle test, they really cut a lot out. They cut a lot of hair, and I don't like that. That's the only thing I honestly don't like about that hair follicle test. You don't have to cut so much of my hair off. But they do. Also, I'm going to say this. And this is going to be for the return drivers or the newbies. Please have you some money put aside up front. Because when you go to these places and you have to do orientation, most likely, I know a lot of, like, when I went to CRSC, I didn't have a lot of money. And I had made that money scratch. Because they didn't pay me. They only fed me, and all my personal items, my shower items and stuff, I had to pay for that myself. But I have you some money put aside, because when you're in orientation, you stand in a hotel. They feed you while you there at the orientation. But once you back in your hotel room, you're going to be hungry, Just have money, extra money put to the side for those type of needs and things and wants of that nature. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions about the trucking industry, please comment them below. But as I said, like, subscribe, comment, and until next time.